Hey guys, it's Jocelyn and today I'm going to be doing a little different video. It's basically how I started reading. It's a tag. So, yeah. So if you guys want to know how I started reading, then keep on watching. So when I was in elementary school, in some of my classes we would read all the time, and there were these paper books that we would make ourselves. I mean, obviously they would print out the stuff, but like we would like staple it ourselves, and it had pictures and it was very colorful, and I enjoyed them so much. I loved them. I would read them so many times over and over again because I loved them that much. They were like my favorite books to read. They weren't even books, they were like little short stories. But I loved them because we would have to do like book reports and stuff, and I enjoyed them so much. And I wish I still had them because I'm just like memories, but I don't. I threw them away when I moved, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, if you guys know what I'm talking about, then let me know what they're called. So I would read all throughout elementary school. Not all the time, but like obviously when I had book projects, or sometimes when we would be able to read in class, I would read them. So when I got to middle school though, I didn't like reading. I didn't read at all. I really didn't have any book reports to do during middle school, which sucked because I feel like if I did, I would have continued reading. But it didn't catch my interest. I thought it wasn't cool. I wasn't really into it at all. So that's kind of the problem. So that was kind of a problem. But once I got into 11th grade in high school, I started reading again. But that was only because I had English IB. And if you guys don't know what that is, look it up because I don't even know what it is. I forgot. But in that class, you are required to read a lot of books, and a lot. And I would read like, I think I had to read 4 books that one semester, and then still out of class I had to read. So it was a lot of reading, and it was good. And like we would do projects on the books that we would read, whether they were the classroom ones or the outside books that we had to read. We did projects on all of those. But the first book that I started reading again, like when it was like my first time reading, like if it was my first time reading ever again, like, or the book was Story of a Girl by Sarah Zarr. And I actually have the book. I got it from thriftbooks.com because I wanted it for memories, to be honest, because it was a book that made me start reading all over. Yeah, so that was one of the first books that I read. We didn't have to do a project on that one, but what that book was supposed to do was basically motivate us to read, and it did because it was a short story, and I really liked it just because it took place in high school while I was in high school, and the whole concept of it was bullying and I believe harassment or something like that. But it was such a good book, and it honestly did motivate me to read because I got so captivated by it. The story was amazing to me, and I was like, obviously there's other books about this, so you know, I started reading. Now, the other book that I read that we actually did have to do a project on was like not only like a huge project, but like a group project that we had to do. It was a dystopian book, so we all had to get like some type of dystopian book. She gave us an option, like 5 of them or something, and whoever got whichever would be in part of that group. And the book that I ended up reading was Divergent, and it was so good. Like I enjoyed it so much, and at the time I didn't know that they were making a movie, but when I found out, I was like, heck yes, I'm so glad I read it because, you know, I know what it's about. It was really good and I liked it, and we actually were able to keep the books, so that was amazing. So I have the whole series now, which is awesome. Well, I do not have 4, but I do have the rest. Anyways, but it was such a good book and I liked it so much. At first I was kind of scared to read it because I'm just like, I don't want to read a book that I'm not gonna like, because then I'm not gonna be motivated at all. But she gave me the synopsis of it and I was like, okay, it sounds interesting, I guess I'll give it a try. And the only reason why I did pick that one was because it had a love interest in it, and I was like, okay, it's kind of like a romance, you know, maybe I'll like it. If it wasn't that one, I would have picked Maze Runner, but then I was a little like, ugh, I feel like Maze Runner is such a guidebook or something, so I was like, nah, I'll go with Divergent. Yeah, so I picked that one. We did group projects, it was amazing, and you know, I ended up buying the second book because I enjoyed it that much. Like right after I finished it, I was like, heck yes, I'm buying the second book. I bought it, I read it. But besides that, that's actually how I started reading again. I had the same teacher for my senior year of high school, so she had basically a library inside her classroom, and part of our senior year as well, her English class, we had to read, and we had reading logs and everything, so I started reading more and more, and she would recommend me all these books, and that's where I read Eleanor and Park, The Perfect Chemistry series. I read Fault in Our Stars. I read so many like popular books in her class, and I am so glad that I took that English class because I feel like if I didn't, I wouldn't be reading at the moment. I wouldn't be into reading. So I am just so glad that I got her class and that I chose that class, because I thank her for it, because I swear to God I wouldn't be reading without her if it wasn't for that class. So yeah, thank you, Miss Forbes. Thank you so much. Yeah, so that's how I got into reading, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I would like to know how you guys started reading, so let me know down below. Yeah, so yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.